In this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with Kate to talk all about their new game that just launched to Kickstarter, Wardens Board Game, in which you can be Cthulhu or the Wardens. We talk about how they're jumping into making their first game that they created, has 124 miniatures, and also a little bit about their world tour to get word out there about Wardens Board Game. So stick around until after Kickstarter Corner when we talk about this great game. Kickstarter Corner, by the way, will have 3 great gaming projects and 1 media project that's currently on Indiegogo. So I hope you'll stay tuned to catch all the greatness on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Fossil Find, a Domino Based Board Game. Fossil Find is a domino-based board game that uses a custom double-sided dominoes that have the 2 numbers on them, just like Dominoes or Mexican Train or those different games that you have seen, and they use these as game pieces. We tried to sit down to have Trey on the show, but we had some technical difficulties. We're still hoping you'll be able to hear from him either later on this week or early next week, so you can find out everything that's great about it, as well as me and the Leafs will hopefully be previewing Fossil Find, so we can tell you our thoughts as well. Fossil Find, the domino-based board game, will be on Kickstarter through the 18th of November, so check it out. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also proudly being powered by Kill Merlin, a new board game for 2 to 4 awful wizards. The Meeple Street blog said it will definitely be one that stays in my collection because it does not feel like any other game that I own. They funded in 11 hours. There's 9 days to go on this great project as it ends on Thursday, the 18th of October. So definitely check out Kill Merlin, a new board game for 2 to 4 awful wizards currently on the Kickstarters. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also proudly being powered by Rodent Rangers, small heroes, big adventures. Ever get into Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers? Well, this was a family-friendly RPG inspired by classic cartoons such as Rescue Rangers, those mousy adventures. So definitely go ahead and check that out. It's from Jacob Kellogg and it's going on the Kickstarters through the 25th of October. So definitely jump over there and check out Rodent Rangers, Small Heroes, Big Adventures, currently on Kickstarter.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Glad you can make it. We've got the fire going because it might be cold where you're at. I know in South Dakota it was in the 30s earlier this week. So go ahead and make yourself comfortable. We'll get you a cover and a blanket or whatever you want to call it. And would you like a drink? Some hot chocolate per se? Okay, I'll go and get some. In the meantime, while I'm getting that prepared, go ahead and listen to Kickstarter Corner. I'll make sure I have that hot chocolate back to you before we get into the main event when we talk all about Wardens the board game.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaves computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leaves.
Is the fire hot enough for you? Feel free to throw a few more logs on while you listen to Kickstarter Corner. I have no problem with that at all. So you like dragons, do you? Well, you definitely want to check out some of the great things going over on the Kickstarters today then. Dragon Lords, the Battle of Darion Relaunch. It's a skirmish-based card game in which 2 players build armies and battle head-to-head. They reach their goal, and there's still 10 more days for you to go ahead and jump on this great game as they're going through Friday, the 19th of October. This is coming from Wolflord Games, so definitely go back and listen to the interview that I sat down with Paul last week to talk all about it. and see what you think. It was a great conversation. Definitely go ahead and check out the art on the Kickstarter page. We'll leave all the links in the show notes. In the same genre of dragons is Dragon Scales Dual Drake Metal Gaming Dice. They're 14 days only. Yeah, that's right. Dragon Scales Dual Drake Metal Gaming Dice with all new 2-color patterning for your RPG and board game adventures, made from actual dragon scales. But note, no dragons were harmed in the creating of these great dice. So go ahead and swing on over to the Kickstarters and check out Dragon Scales Dual Drake Metal Gaming Dice, 14 days only, going through Monday the 22nd of October. If you know anything about me, Gamer Leaf, you know I like deck building games. Well, how about building deck building games? They look fun too. One of them is actually on Kickstarter. Builders, the building deck building game. Lots of building. Definitely check this one out. Builders is a deck builder where you're trying to build the tallest and most valuable skyscraper. There's about 2 weeks to go on this one, as it ends on Wednesday the 24th of October. So definitely go ahead and check out Builders, the building deck building game. And we talked about having a media personnel on the Indiegogo or on Kickstarter Corner. Well, there's one currently working on funding. One of my favorite content creators, Marco Cervone from It's Your Turn and TLDR game series Year 1, that's currently funding on the Indiegogo. It's a board game video creator that focuses on live stream, playthroughs, and discussions, reviews, and more. Definitely go ahead and click on that link and see what TLDR game series has going on. Contribute a little bit, see about helping this campaign out. They're 14% funded. They're only going for about $1,500, and there's 20 days left, so go ahead and jump over there. And do you need to expand your horde of Halloween games? Definitely go back and listen to this last episode of Family Fun Day Friday that we released to find out all about Zombs, a half-brain card game that me and the other Leafs really liked. And it's currently on Amazon.com, where you can go ahead and check it out. Or just head on over to the website, www.zombsgame.com. Check it out. It really reminds me of the Garbage Pail Kids. And actually, the creator, Glendon, with making this game and stuff, I had to go do a little bit of research on Garbage Pail Kids because it's been, 30 plus years. And wow, I want to get back into Garbage Pail Kids. And you know what else? I want to go play Zombs with my family, and I know you will too. So go check out Zombs, a half-brain card game. Are you warm enough? Did you enjoy that Kickstarter Corner? I hope so. Yeah, your hot chocolate is just barely coming off of the stove. Do you want any marshmallows? I don't care for them, but would you like some little marshmallows to add to your hot chocolate? Oh, okay, great. Well, here you go. We have different flavors. I don't know why they make different flavors of hot chocolate. It's just chocolate, but go ahead. Here's the different flavors we have. Go ahead and pick one, and the corresponding cup will go with the corresponding flavor. And let's go ahead and join this interview all about Wardens Board Game, currently in progress, shall we?
Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
The world has fallen. Choose your side. As Cthulhu and his Legion of Starspawn in a horrific one-verse-all scenario. Or the Wardens in a perilous cooperative or solo mode. Defend against the hordes of Cthulhu in a unique strategic battle pyramid mechanic, or use his dreadful power to spread madness over what is left of humanity. Face an epic journey across a ravished world in search of powerful ancient artifacts, the last hope for the survival of humankind. Gather your rivals' powers, raise your forces, upgrade your steam-powered armies.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but this is the story of Wardens Board Game. And today we're lucky enough to have on the creator and mastermind, or one of the creators and masterminds behind this great game, Kate from Raven. Is that correct? Is that how you fit into the line with Wardens Board Game, Kate?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it, Kate.
Thanks to you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem at all. Now, before we get into everything that's great about Wardens the Board Game, let's rewind a little bit if we could. How did you get into playing tabletop board games, Kate? Or were you born into it?
Well, I think I was born into it. You know, I started playing games pretty much like everyone, I think, in my childhood with my family. You know, those classic family games that we all tend to like hate now, like Milborn, Life, Clue, Skip-Bo. By the way, I still really enjoy those games because I still play them with my family, and no matter what we play, it's always a precious moment for me. So I started playing real board games a couple of years ago when I moved in my apartment downtown. And I was living right next to a local game store, and I went there every week to try new games. And this is when I started, you know, growing my collection and learning about like real games. This is actually the place where Sam, my partner, and I had some of our very first dates in this local game store. So we just went there all the time together, playing games and growing our collection and like starting to buy everything. So this is how I started playing board games.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I was worried for a minute that you were going to say that you hate Milborn. That's actually a fun game. I really love that game. I'm glad you still like some of the old games, so that's cool. And that's awesome that you were able to meet your partner there and then I guess have the dates there in the game store. So you talked about transitioning to other games, was finding the game store and whatnot. So what is your current favorite game, would you say, Kate?
My current favorite game right now would be Raptor. I've been traveling with Sam since a year now, and it's been hard for us to find friends in every city that we go to play a game with us. So we mostly enjoy playing two-player games. So for us, Raptor is great. We love the theme. We are both huge dinosaur geeks, and this is what appealed us at first. The gameplay is super fun and simple and quick, and you know, we can just play multiple times and try to get revenge on each other for like hours.
Well, that's good. Yeah, when me and my wife sit down to play a game, we might try the revenge thing for hours, but usually I end up losing.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm the one who loses all the time against Sam. Like, he wins every damn game, so I'm just, okay, let's try another one, and then we can go on forever, but I'll still lose all the time.
Well, at least you're having fun, so that's good. So what would be one thing you would do to enhance this game? You said Raptor. What would be one thing you would do to enhance it or make it better?
Since we've been playing, you know, so many times and for so long, maybe I would add an expansion with like different action cards, maybe a different board with a different emplacement for the rocks and the escape tiles, just like for a little more replayability and just a little like a new feel to it, but with keeping the same like fun elements, like just having a little new a new feel to it would be nice.
Well, there you go. Hopefully they'll add an expansion for you sometime so you can go ahead and get a little bit more different feel for it, like you said. Now, word on the street, Kate, is that you have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about Wardens Board Game?
So Wardens is a 1 to 4 player strategic game which is set in a Lovecraftian and a steampunk universe. So one player takes the role of Cthulhu, and he controls his legion of Starspan and fight against his friends who co-op as the Wardens team. So both sides are very fun to play. Cthulhu is very satisfying to play because he's so overpowered, and like every moves he takes and every action he makes are scary and destructive. Playing as the Wardens is very fun also, since every one of them have their own characteristic and abilities. So each player has a totally different gameplay from each other. And this is why they must work as a co-op and help each other out if they want to make it. So basically, Wardens is a huge strategic battle between steam-powered armies and Cthulhu Starspan. So there's unit placement, which is very important as you need to control territories. There are mind reading mechanics. There's a strategic battle mechanic that really adds also something special to the gameplay.
Well, that's awesome. You took the best of both worlds. It sounds like I love me some Cthulhu as well as steampunk, so that's awesome. Am I right that this is your first game that you've created, Kate?
Yes, this is our very first project. We have been working on Wardens for more than 2 years now, and we have a lot of other games ideas like every designers, but it was very important for us to bring this first project to life before starting anything else.
Awesome. And according to your Kickstarter, it says it appears to be a big game with minis with a funding goal of $50,000. When I've seen the first-time creators in the past going for big goals like that, usually they don't get funded the first time. I know that only time will tell, but what have you done on your end to help this game reach its funding goal once you launch, Kate?
Since the beginning, we really believed in this project, and we honestly gave it everything we had. We left Quebec exactly 1 year ago now to work on Wardens. We toured with it in a tour like around the world. We attended to many gaming events, playtests, demo, board game conventions in Asia, Europe, and Canada to get the most comments and suggestions as possible. We met hundreds of gamers and also other independent designers and publishers like us, which is always very inspirational. We have been showing the process of the design since more than a year in the social medias and to the community. And every single comments and suggestions that we received by the community were always considered very seriously. This is, by the way, the reason why we added the co-op and solo mode to the game. We have been trying to follow the community's advice really as much as possible. Now I can say that we really did everything we could to make this project a success. We believed in it, we gave it love. We seriously gave it everything we had. Our credit cards are full. I know that we can always, do better, and we can always do more, but I really believe that I gave the best that I could.
It sounds like it. I don't know that I've talked to a Kickstarter creator yet in my 160 or plus interviews and I don't think they've ever, of the people I've interviewed, I don't think I've ever heard them talk about traveling the world or touring the world with their game. So that's awesome.
Yeah, this is something very special. I've always wanted to travel. This was one of my dreams, as well as as creating a board game. Traveling the world was a dream. So we thought, why not combine the two, and just travel and show the game around and meet many different board game communities around the world. And so, it was incredibly inspiring.
Wow, yeah, killing two birds with one stone. Now, before you started traveling the world with your game, I imagine quite a bit of play testing went into it and whatnot. During that play testing, was there ever anything that you had to cut because it just wouldn't work for the game, Kate?
Yes, it did. We made a couple changes after the first play test. The game was a bit too complicated and it made the players lose, the essence of the gameplay. Most of the changes we made were to make the mechanics and the gameplay more simple and more easy. I think there was a lot of unnecessary rules that just made it more complicated and which didn't add any depth to the game. So we just canceled them and we just focused more on the emotions, try to create a gameplay that gives emotions to the player, feeling fear, feeling nervous, excited, because this is something that we enjoy the most when we watch the playtester play Wardens. People are screaming, they are laughing, they get nervous against Cthulhu, and this is really what our goal is with this game. So all the changes that we've made were focused on this.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, emotions, that's really a great thing to include in the game, so that's awesome. Now, when it comes to Wardens, what would you say you're most proud of, Kate?
Well, simply the fact that I designed a game and made it all the way to Kickstarter makes me incredibly proud. I literally cannot believe it. We are only a 2-people team, Sam is the artist. He's been doing all the artwork for Wardens, most of the sculpt, the illustrations, the graphics. He works on the video, and I did, everything else. In the last 2 years, I did things I didn't even know existed. I learned so much, just creating a company, learning about laws and accountant stuff, and then writing a rule book and a storybook, and doing all of this in English, which is by the way not my first language, and which this makes it really hard for me every day, having to learn another language and get better at it while working is quite challenging, I'd have to say. I also learned so many things, like how to create a website, how to make videos, how to create prototype and organize board game events. So I started from nothing. I had no idea how to do this, and I learned, and I made a long way, and I am here today with you, and this makes me really proud.
Yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't. So that's awesome. Yeah, and plus doing all that while traveling the world to showcase your game. Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, it was quite challenging to travel while working on the game, especially in Asia. We spent 10-11 months in Asia, and you can imagine that electricity and internet is very a pain there. So sometimes we needed internet to work, just to use Facebook and things like that, and just to use Google, and just to make it work. And sometimes it was just impossible. So things that we take for granted, I realized that there are so many things I took for granted in Asia. I realized how simple things can really make all the difference.
Yeah, for sure. I know one of my friends, you were recently on one of his live streams with the Marco Servone of It's Your Turn and TLDR Game Series, who actually has a Indiegogo campaign going on for his channels currently. He hasn't really been able to use much of the internet, as he said the Wi-Fi is pretty bad where he's traveling currently.
Yeah. Where is he?
He's either in Paris. Well, I don't know if he's in Paris. Italy. I want to say he's in Italy, maybe.
Okay. I am in Italy right now. I am in the middle of a field in Casambrato, and it's a tiny village, and internet is okay. Right now, to do this podcast, I needed to turn off all the Wi-Fi from all the other from all the phones and everything, so the Wi-Fi could be only on this laptop. So it's quite challenging.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a little bit different. So wow, that's awesome. Now, with all the games that are on Kickstarter, what makes your game pop and stand out as one my audience should go and check out and back if they like what they see, Kate?
The things that stand out in Wardens is that you can actually play as Cthulhu and control his legion, and you are the one spreading madness and breaking the world. This was one of the most important things for us, to allow the player to actually become the great old one and just be overpowered. But the thing that makes it different from all the other Cthulhu game that we see here is that the heroes are not simple investigators and inspectors. They are fierce warrior leading a powerful army of steampunk vehicle. And for that reason, the gameplay has nothing to do with the usual Lovecraft game that you see every day now, where you play an investigator and you need to search and fight against cultists. So it's always the same story, but here we really brought something very different. So in Wardens, Cthulhu has already risen and he has already shattered the world. So most of humanity is falling into madness, and this is the last battle, the last hope for humanity. Also, there's basically no player elimination. So once a Wardens become mad, he gets corrupted by Cthulhu, and he will play for him against his friends. So this is something that really adds a layer of intense tactic when the game reaches the last turns. And I also forgot the 100 millimeter brass plated Cthulhu miniature, which is included in our Kickstarter right now. So I think that we are the only one who has this. So.
Oh, wow, yeah, and it looks like there's 124 miniatures. They all come with the game?
Yes, exactly. 124 miniatures in total. And like I said, if you get the deluxe pledge, you get a 100 millimeter brass-plated Cthulhu.
Oh, wow, yeah, and it looks like just scrolling through the page or whatnot, looking at those miniatures, that's awesome. There's like, you get steampunk vehicles, you get Cthulhu, and as well as his minions, and then your warden characters. Wow, they look awesome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you like them.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and then that brass-plated Cthulhu, that's awesome. So, yeah, it looks just wonderful, just looking at the Kickstarter page. And what does that cost for the upgraded version to get the brass-plated Cthulhu for somebody?
The deluxe version is $29 more than the base pledge.
Okay, yeah, so that's awesome. But with the base pledge, you still get everything in the box besides the brass plated?
Absolutely, you get everything, but Cthulhu will be, a regular plastic miniature, but it's still going to be really good quality. This is something really important for us to have a very good quality components. So the only thing is that you're not going to have a brass Cthulhu.
So I'll go ahead and leave all the links in the show notes so they can come and check out everything that is grand and awesome about this game and the miniatures and just everything that's on there, because it looks awesome. Wardens, the board game. I think you've even sold me, and hopefully being able to get it if I can spare some change for my wallet, Kate.
Thank you so much.
Now, Mina's coming over there to Italy to stalk you or whatnot. How would people go about keeping up with you guys, what you have going on with Wardens, the board game, and possibly, you said you have other games in your minds as well. How would they keep up with Wardens, the board game and stuff?
So everybody can find us on our website, raven-tales.com, and also on Facebook. You just check Raven Tales and you can find us. You're going to see everything there about the Kickstarter and about upcoming games, maybe in 2019, who knows?
Well, I hope so, but does that mean you'll have to go on another world tour?
Maybe I will skip the world tour for this one and just print many, like hundreds of copies and just ship them all around the world. Maybe it's going to be less complicated, I think.
Oh, there you go. Or unless Wardens, the board game, really blows up and goes incredibly past the funding goal, then maybe you can have that opportunity again.
Yes, I hope so. I really hope so. It would be incredible.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, how we can not only get an awesome game, but how we can help Kate get her next game, which we don't know what it is yet, but hopefully we'll find out after this campaign is through. And then it looks like the campaign is ending when? The end of October, or when about will it end, Kate?
It's going to end on November 6th. And it starts on October 9th, so I think it's already started when this podcast is live. So you guys can back us right now.
Yeah, like I said, go ahead and click that link and at least check out everything that's great about Wardens Board Game, and you just go ahead and back this project. It looks awesome, and you'll not be disappointed for sure. Now, we don't want to keep you. I guess it's all night over there. Yeah, it's night over there, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, it's 7 p.m., so it's not that bad.
Okay, well, we don't want to keep you all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief to talk everything about Wardens Board Game that's currently on Kickstarter through the 6th of November. We really appreciate it, Kate.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, no problem. Well, if you liked it all what you heard, I hope you'll jump over to the Kickstarter page and check out Wardens Board Game. It should have launched by the time you're listening to this, and it goes through the 6th of November. So definitely check that out. And you can either be Cthulhu or the Wardens. So definitely check that out. And it's our least favorite time, your least favorite time for us to get on with our lives, you to get on with yours. In the meantime, I hope you'll go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into the geek fold. Game Relief out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.